And we are on. So welcome back. Here we are for another episode. Today we have Ivan Oyola, also known as Ivan from Phoenix.
Yeah.
And actually, this is interesting because I actually probably came out with a name for for this podcast. And since we will talk about sort of this aspect of the Trinity, and it's probably going to be called problema, comprensione, soluzione. So problem, understanding, solution.
Very good. Yeah.
So that's something that I just came out. I need a name for this. So, well, first of all, Ivan, we're very grateful for you for having been here today with us, and welcome to the show.
Yeah, glad to be here. I listened to a few of your shows, especially the one with Mark Devlin.
Oh.
So yeah, it's good to see that other people are starting to put some work out on other parts of the world. That's what's needed.
Okay, so hopefully I will be less wooden this time with my English, because that was the first time, and I was a little bit stiff, stiffed out.
Okay.
And so, would you like to kind of tell people sort of how you got into this adventure and how you started, and the type of work that you're doing for spreading, or at least try to spread some awareness and some truth out there?
Yeah, well, I don't know where to start. Well, like everybody else, I'm a regular person. You know, I have a job. That's why it's taken us a while to put this thing together, you and I, because when you're off, I'm working. When I'm working, you're off. So we were able to finally sync up. So I'm like everybody else. I have a job. I have bills to pay. I'm a debt slave like everybody else. And so, but yeah, it's going now maybe 11 years. So 11 years ago or so, just listening to podcasts. And actually, where did it start? It was an audio CD. Actually, it was because I was in debt. Since I was in debt, I was watching, some in here in America. I'm in Arizona right now. They have at late night, they have like infomercials, like commercials where people selling all kinds of stuff, stuff for your cars, stuff for your home, books, audio, things about debt, medicine, and all kinds of stuff. So I saw this one commercial by Kevin Trudeau called Debt Cures They Don't Want You to Know About. So I ordered that book, read the book, and I didn't retain much information from that, but it came with an audio CD, an hour-long audio CD, and I listened to that CD, and it had a lot of things that by today's standard, you and I would call occulted knowledge. It was information that is not out there on TV and the news, or in the churches, or politicians, or nobody really talks about this stuff. So I started listening to the CD over and over again, and I was just giving different concepts on consciousness, about learning, how people don't learn, what they don't know, what they should know, how to, adjust their brains to actually start taking in information, processing it, and getting coherent ideas. And he suggested a whole bunch of different books and things to research, to keep going down that path. And that was it. Just that one little CD just started that path, and that led to a whole bunch of new age things like Wayne Dyer and Deepak Chopra. Went to the library, started getting a whole bunch of their audiobooks, and started looking up YouTube videos, a lot of conspiracy stuff and truther stuff. That's when I found the Zeitgeist movie around 2007, 2008, and that was pretty big for a lot of people. And from there, David Icke and Michael Tsarian and the snowball effect, And then around 2011, I came across the work of Mark Passio, and he was one of the first ones to really not just put information out there like, look, this is what I know, and a lot of people don't know this. He didn't just end there. He put the information out there and said, put a challenge, kind of, okay, now you have this information. What are you going to do with it? Now you have to take it, learn it, and you do something with it. You start talking about it and pass it on and do something with it. And shortly after that, around 2012, I started a website, freeyourmindaz.com. I started a local meetup group here in Arizona by the same name, Free Your Mind AZ. And then a little while after that, I started recording podcasts of my own, Guy Next Door Speaks. And that was just something, to record every once in a while, just to put ideas out there and, point people in the direction of the knowledge. So it's not that I know everything, listen to me, I'm right. No, it's, hey, there's information out there. I didn't know this. And a lot of you people probably don't know this. So here, look at this, go here, read these books, watch these videos, watch this, watch that. And that's pretty much it, just directing people to the information. And that's not the entire solution. That's just the beginning. Because after many years of doing that, having the website is still up and running, the meetup group is still there. I haven't been that active with it because, like everything else, you put effort in and you see hundreds of people are members, but only the same 2, 3, 4 people show up. So it's like, that's frustrating. And the podcast I'd still do once in a while. But as you may well know, earlier this year, I decided to take it to the next level and put together my first conference out here in Arizona. And that was the Truth Mind Reality Conference. And that also has a website, truthmindreality.com. So I was able to, working long hours the last a year ago, this time during the holidays, put together a lot of money and everything because I paid for it myself, aside from the ticket sales, to try and, recoup the expenses, because I didn't want anybody else to, too many hands in there. Like, let's do this, let's do that, let's do this, let's do that. And then it's all over the place. So, it was something I did myself. I had Mark Passio come out, Mark Devlin came out, Lennon Honor, Sonia Barrett, and several other local people. So just a one-day event just to do something here, in Arizona. And everybody enjoyed it. It went, off without a hitch. And so, maybe sometime in the next year or so, I can try and put something like that together again. But it takes a lot of effort, and that's, shows why we are where we're at, that we're working so hard just to eat and have clothing and shelter.
Exactly.
But to do the great work and to put the truth out there, it takes so much more effort, so much more is needed. Money, that's the thing. Those with the money, those are the ones that have all the occulted knowledge. They have the power, they have the internet, they have the TV stations, the movies, the media, the churches, the everything. So they have the money, and it's easy to keep putting the false, the fallacies out there and the control mechanisms. Whereas us regular people, we got to kind of bust our ass just to put a one-day event together. So, that's in a nutshell, that's pretty much where we're at, where I'm at. And that's it.
No, sure. And I mean, you're quite, you're also kind of, let's say, advanced in a way, because to organize, an event like that, as you said, was pretty much, was quite the effort. And yeah, I mean, you're right. Here it's kind of tough if you're not if you're not one of the of the dark ones, the dark those who own pretty much those that are in control right as of right now. And you mentioned the fact that what you came in contact with even at the beginning was kind of occulted knowledge. So there's this thing about the occult and occult knowledge, and many people think about tend to have sort of strange ideas regarding that. Can you would you like to explain a little bit what the occult actually it consists of, because it's
Sure.
okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, occult. That's something that I have a good friend out here that we talk a lot of the conspiracy stuff, truther stuff, and I'm always telling her, it's a female, about intention. That I see a lot of that. intention is very important, why something's done, the reason behind it. So when it comes to occult, that's basically hidden knowledge. It's, knowledge that's hidden, the occulted knowledge. But, you got to ask, why is that hidden? What's the intention? See, so Mark Passio covers this in detail in his natural law seminar and pretty much all his work. And I narrow it down to basically that occulted is just information, knowledge, knowing something that is empowering. If you don't have that, you don't have power. And I don't mean power over other people, because that's where the dark occult is. It's knowledge used to enslave others, to control others. Whereas the intention, the positive aspect of it, is knowledge, occulted knowledge that you acquire for yourself, for your own empowerment. You empower yourself. I empower myself. You empower yourself. The listeners of this video, watchers of this video, empower themselves. That's that thin line when it comes to occulted knowledge. A lot of people just dismiss it as, evil, taboo, that's negative stuff. No, it just means hidden. But the intention is what's important there. Why is it hidden? It's hidden to keep the majority of the people powerless or weak, and the people with that knowledge, with that occulted knowledge, they're in power and they're strong. They have the money, the wealth, the positions of perceived authority, and they pretty much pull the strings. And that's the flip side. That's opposite. That's a negative. That's a dark way of looking at it, that a few could control everything instead of the many being in control of themselves, which is in essence everything. Because if you have 7 billion people in control of themselves and living their lives, respectfully and properly and according to natural law, and they have knowledge that's not hidden, so there's very little that's occulted, then that's a totally different world. So that's how I see it.
Exactly. And I mean that's the whole point. It's knowledge, something that has been hidden from people and retained by these other people, that in that way can control the masses. That's basically how it works. And so because many may think occult, like the sort of sorcery sorcerers, the kind of rituals, and that's and I mean that's all, that can be a part of it, but it's not all. So
yeah, well, let me go in a little bit deeper in this then.
Okay.
That's part of the dark occult. That becomes sorcery or dark magic, the ones who know what they're doing and how to use that to manipulate. That's part of that dark aspect. Now, the thing is, okay, occulted knowledge. Well, what is this occulted knowledge? And what I've learned through, again, Passio, he does excellent work. And, when I kind of rate a lot of different researchers and true speakers, and a lot of people can put half truth and half stuff that's kind of questionable. Some people about 75%. Some people, you get very few people that are like 80, 90% of their stuff that you're like, okay, they're onto something. And that's where I put Passio at. He's very high up there. Very little of what he puts out is, kind of questionable. So he's one of the best ones out there. So according to the work he's put out, what is this occulted knowledge? It's the knowledge of the microcosm and the macrocosm. So the knowledge of the small and the knowledge of the large. So basically knowledge of self and knowledge of the universe. So we're, our consciousness, that's the very as small as it gets. And then the collective, the whole of humanity, that's the macrocosm. So that's what's occulted. If we don't know, to know yourself, the universe. I think that's one of those, the saying from the Oracle of Delphi or something, know thyself and you will know the universe. So that's that thing. Yourself, you're this small, and then you know the universe. So it's the same thing. So knowledge of natural law, the Hermetic principles, that's knowledge of the big stuff. And knowledge of yourself is your consciousness. Basically, that you're programmable, that you're not born knowing everything. However, you have to be in control of the information that comes in. And again, intention. Are you taking information in to be programmed, to be controlled, or are you taking information in to raise your consciousness, raise your knowledge, raise your behavior, raise how you think and how you behave? See, so that's part of the occulted knowledge. So if people don't know that, if they just think you got to go to school, go to church, get a job, pay your taxes, and then die, that's the programming. And that's where 99% of the people are at.
Yeah, and there's nothing you can do about it. That's the most.
That's just the way it is.
One of the most of the biggest lies that these people have have actually put people in that type of mindset. So it's nothing I can do about it. Like Marx says, it was always this way. It is this way now, and it will always be.
yeah.
It will always be this way. So really,
that programs one to think lack of power. I have no power. I can't do anything about it. So
just the way the world works. Instead, no, it's false. You or another thing is the whole human nature kind of debate, so to speak.
Yeah.
So it's human nature. It's bad. It's not bad. And now, if you hear many people just say, all the bad things that are going on in the world, kind of oppression, the fact that we got to have power, we got to have somebody ruling over ourselves, because otherwise, at best, this is the lesser of evils, because otherwise, human nature will just express itself, and that will be chaos and mayhem, the destruction, and people raping and killing each other and so on.
Right, because if that's what the society, if that's what all the movies, TV shows, if that's how the governments perceive, the news, everything shows, you don't turn on the news and watch 99% of people being good to each other. You turn on the news and it's all the theft, the murder, the fighting, the war, everything negative, and that becomes part of the programming. So that's part of that occulted mechanism there, is that repetition. They keep putting that out there, and well, that's human nature. I see it every day. I'm 40 years old, and every day of my life I've seen it on TV. So how else is humanity but that way? Well, if that's all they show, then that's the programming. See? So, and again, taking the power away, saying, no, this is how it is, this is how it is, this is how it is, instead of people, acting and being free to do what they know is right or what they feel is right, and changing how society is constructed. One thing when you were just talking now, I wanted to throw out there. In the last week, I finished listening for a second time an audiobook by Larkin Rose called The Iron Web. I bought that. He published that, wrote that himself, and did the audio back around 2008, 2009. And I came across it around 2011. I ordered it from his website, got the MP3 CD, and I have it on my iPod. And I was listening to it again. And that's a fictional book. It's a story, maybe, 8, 9 hours long, 60 chapters. But it's very good. I listened to it when I first got it back around 2011, and my consciousness was kind of here. So I got some of it, and it was okay. But now, since I've grown some more, now when I listen to that book again, everything in there was spot on. It's an excellent book. So if you get a chance, anyone, go to larkinrose.com, look online and try and find The Iron Web, whether it's the actual book or the audio book for either download or ordering it. Because I personally, if I can get a hold of Larkin and work it out with him, I would love to just make copies after copies after copies of that and give it out to people, because I had a friend listen to it also, and she also was, blown away how good that book was. All the message, everything about natural law, about non-aggression principle, everything was in there, and it's very excellent. So that goes to what we were talking about.
The Larkin's work is great if you want to to actually understand what many of the things that are going on, and also the concept that are completely kind of strangers, so to speak, to many people, like something like self-ownership and as you mentioned, anarchy, natural law.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And I must admit, unfortunately, I'm on the other side of the Atlantic, and over here, these sort of concepts are a little less. I mean, they are not that spread even over there in the U.S. So imagine, sort of here, they are. I can guess, and I think it's pretty safe to say that they're actually less. Even less distributed, less known. So that was also one of the reasons why I try to bring sort of at least some fresh ideas regarding this, because I think it's the kind of the best way to make people understand that they own themselves, and that there shouldn't be a master. And even people who understand that here are kind of sort of, how can I say, there are lots of halfways, so to speak. There something similar to like the free men movements that the sort of the name the name is fake, the birth certificate. Some people are understanding that, but they kind of have this sort of stuck in somewhat of a mentality that I don't know, they just not they're just not there yet in understanding complete human sovereignty.
Right.
So,
Yeah, well, like you said, you're over there, I'm over here. Supposedly, see, this is the thing, that America's supposed to be so free and, so much more access to things because more variety and all that. So it's like the lies are bigger over here, and the deception is bigger over here. But the lie of being free also offers the opportunity for more people to access like what they would call this radical information. See, whereas over there, I would think it's more, more censorship, more controlled, more restricted, so not as free, right?
no, well,
Whereas,
it's actually more niche. It's kind of even more niche than in the US. So if you have still lots of statism, or halfway sort of constitutionalism, libertarianism, here it's even less, because
right.
it's kind of a different thing. And regarding anarchy, that it's a topic that I also like to cover a little bit more in depth for this interview. But let's just say, for starters, even regarding anarchy, there's kind of lots of confusion. And for example, what it is, it's like some sort of communist thing, sort of a communal, communal living, and no property, this sort of thing.
See, the thing is that the word obfuscation, when things are obfuscated, like they take a word and the meaning of it is kind of blurred, or they flip it and people think it means something it doesn't. So like with anarchy, everyone thinks chaos, no rules. Oh, there's no rules, it's chaos, everything's crazy, when that's not what it means. It actually means without rulers, no rulers. There's still rules, there's still natural law, there's right and wrong, what's right and what's wrong. However, there's no rulers. Again, like I said before, intentions, something external controlling you, or you controlling yourself from the inside out. So anarchy, you want, what is it? Anarchy external anarchy, that means no masters, no rulers, but you want internal monarchy, one ruler, you rule yourself. You see? So they obfuscate that, they change things around. Just like you said, communism. I hear all the time, communism, communist, this, that. But when we get to the roots of these words, community, you want a community, you want to commune. See, but yet it's been flipped and bastardized that communist is evil, just like socialism, socialist, evil, social. Well, wait a minute. You and I, if we're in the same room and I don't want to talk to you, I try to avoid you and give you a meaning. Look, I'm antisocial. I don't want to be social with you. That's bad. So you want to be social. You want to socialize. That means interact with one another. So socialism, you would think, is derived from interacting with one another. But yet again, there's that flip that, oh, that's bad. Socialism, that's evil. Communism, that's evil. It's like, no, it's more words that have been bastardized and abused. And, you know, when it comes to government and all that, yeah, it's a whole bunch of mind games that's going on. Even with government, I'll get into that real quick. I talked to Mark Passio about this too. And, you know, again, with my friend, I talk about government, and we think in the conspiracy realm and truther movement and all this, government, evil, bad, government's the enemy, government's that. And yes, the etymology of the word is to control the mind, government, mind control. So you think, oh, that's bad. But what's missing? Intention. What direction are we coming from? From outside mind control, outside government? Yes, that's bad. The external entities known as government, that's bad. That's an external mind control. Now, government inside, you control your own mind. You govern your mind. Government, the individual government, that's good. See, you control your mind. That's government. That's individual governments. We all can be our own governments. See, so that, you know, I brought that up to Mark, and yeah, he talked, well, it's implied. Yeah, when we talk about external, I think we need to be specific. We start breaking things down, get more in detail so that people aren't so afraid of these words and can start grasping, you know, that internal power. Well, I'm my own government. You're your own government. How can you be a government? Well, government to control mine. I control my mind. See, so I have government. I am my own government. Each of us can be our own governments. See, that's the positive aspect. See, so that way it kind of diffuses and takes away the power of this government external being all powerful. So the intention is very important in a lot of these words.
Yes, absolutely. It's like you said before, external and internal anarchy. We have to start. Yeah, maybe for starters, to approach people. Yes, okay, you say, you know, government is this, is mind control. Your mind is being controlled. So kind of, you know, communism and the 3D realm effects of having a government, no matter what kind of government it was, have been, you know, the deaths of uncountable, pretty much
the last century, 250 million. Yeah, over 250 million in the last century. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So that had been the physical reality, the effects of having that kind of external power.
Right.
And so it's important. Maybe, you know, at the beginning you can say, okay, that's bad. It's kind of undeniable. Hopefully, some people will debate that, but you know, that's
and that's the key. Is that, see, like I said, government. See, like I told you, I'm going on 11 years. 11 years ago, government and myself being a government and intentional, this that was over my head. That was nowhere to be seen. It takes time. We each have to continually work on ourselves and evolve ourselves. You know, lift our consciousness, raise our consciousness. Learning more, de-occulting more information, and getting, you know, clearing up intentions of words, how that applies to yourself, how you can utilize that, how you know, what does it mean to me? And yeah, everybody needs to work on themselves. So like when you were talking about communicating that with other people, that's part of the problem, is that a lot of people look for a solution that you tell somebody something and they snap, click. Okay, that would be nice, but that's not how it is. They need, like I said, with my website and the work I have out there, it's kind of pointing a finger saying, read this, watch this, listen to this, because they need to work on themselves. See, they need to have that internal monarchy. They need to rule themselves. They need that internal government. They need to control their minds. See, if you tell them this is how it is, this is right, this is wrong, da 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 da, that's another form of external government. You're externally controlling their mind. See, even though you have a good intention for them to free themselves, however, it has to start with them, and that's the key. You have to light that little fire within themselves to start wanting to do this work and figure things out. And that's, I guess, what happened to me 11 years ago. Just that little CD, asking questions, what else is there? How they say, going down the rabbit hole, this, that, this conspiracy, 9/11, JFK, vaccines, chemtrails, everything is connected. And then you get to the, to the pinnacle, to these peaks and the causal factor, as Passio calls it. And I narrowed it down to basically beliefs in authority and the belief in money, because those are the two things that keep everything in place. Because the whoever pulled off 9/11, they were following orders, belief in authority, or they got paid millions of dollars, belief in money. Whoever spraying the chemtrails, following orders, or getting paid lots of money. The vaccines, they're following orders, lots of money. So everything that's negative, all the conspiracies, when you boil it down, belief in authority and belief in money are pretty much the two-headed snake of that monster that controls everything.
Exactly, and we will resume it in a short while.
All right.